Hello, welcome to this video in which you may be able to hear my computer all the way over there. I am doing sprints right now, so if there is a weird cut in approximately 16 minutes, that is why. I'm gonna hope and try really hard to make this video not over half an hour, but we'll see. But this is my 23 books I'm reading in 2023, in which I use my iPad. Some of these are physical, if you can't tell from like the pile right here, but some of these are not, and a good chunk of these I have a kind of way to read them. If you've been keeping up with my videos, you know that this year my weekend reading vlogs, I started those, and in those I have been reading the Vampire Academy series, one book a month basically, and in December I am going to finish that one because I am filming this way ahead of schedule. And so, what would I read for weekend reading vlogs anymore? TBR jar. I made a TBR jar. There is way more in here than I will need for 1 year. And at least every single one of these books are in here, plus some more, like a lot more. And that is fine. So some of these will be read just for fun, for other vlogs, whatnot. But I do have like a plan to actually put into effect me actually reading them. On top of that, for future plan type stuff, this is going up instead of a January TBR, because in January, instead of doing plan themed vlogs, I'm going to be mood reading with weekly reading vlogs, just because I like watching weekly reading vlogs and I want to do them a little bit. And so that is what all of January's reading will be. And because it's mood reading, I don't know what I will be reading in terms of to film a TBR. So instead, you get this. Merry Christmas. It's actually kind of fitting because I think when I plan to upload this, it's going to be right after the holidays. So me saying that all the time comes into effect. Now, a few of these are just a person's name or a series name, as in I want to read that whole entire series. Some of them are as in like I have a lot of books by this author and I want to get through them. Some of them are, there are 3 or 4 connecting series by this author that I really want to read, and this is my way of trying to finally get them. And similarly, as I'm just writing down their names, it will be obvious when I say them, they are also just the names or the series in the TBR jar paper. And if I do end up picking that one up, I'll just choose which of the books, either next in series or whatnot, and then throw it back in the jar for a later day, right? Maybe like keep it out for the next pick out thing, but like generally that's the theme. And the reason why I'm bringing that up right now is because the first thing I wrote down was Brandon Sanderson. Now we gotta move the iPad for this because these are all the Brandon Sandersons I own. It's not many. I mean, it's a few, but these are the ones I own that I have not read yet. I have read all of Mistborn Era 1 and the first book in Era 2. I have Skyward, which I have not read for whatever reason. I think that's totally gonna be my type of book, but I haven't picked it up yet. I have Mistborn Era 2's book 2 and 3, Elantris, Warbreaker, and The Way of Kings, which I've had for a while now. I want to get through them. Listen, they've been on my shelves for a good chunk of time now. This one, 2 years. These two, at least 2 years. So, like, I should get through them. Hear me out. And a good way to make sure I get through them is if I say in a video, I'm going to get through them. So, yeah, the first thing I wrote down is just Brandon Sanderson, because I got to get through these. Carrying those downstairs was a fun time. Next up on the physical book train is Bloodmarked, which finally came in. I am also, like, in companion to this, rereading Legendborn. I was going to just automatically reread Legendborn and then read this one, but the way I want to annotate them, I want to switch how I annotated them, which means I need these pens I really want. And so instead of reading this now and either annotating it now and then going back and redoing it when I reread it, or not annotating at all and annotating when I reread it. I'm just gonna wait until I get those pens, right? And so yeah, I plan to get them around Christmas time, so it's gonna happen. And I'm very excited. I love this. If you know anything about me, I've been excited for this book forever. Yay. Next one is Malibu Rising. I did not plan to buy this at all. And then, like, I needed to pick one of the free books for Book of the Month for using them for so long and whatnot. I'm picking one of the favorites of the year, and I had already bought the Emily Henry, I believe it was, that I would have gotten otherwise. So I just got the Taylor Jenkins Reid because I heard good things about her. I hadn't even read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo yet. I have read it now, so I have high hopes. I don't know if I'll like this. I'm worried, but I'm gonna give it a hesitant try. It is both in the jar and also listed a book I want to read. Basically every book of the month book that I have that are not planned for vlogs are in that jar. So like, that's fun. But yeah, I really want to read this one now that I've read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. In general, I want to read Jane Austen. This is my collection of Jane Austens. It's got Sense and Sensibility, which I have read, Pride and Prejudice that I have read, but I want to reread in 2023. It's got Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. So yeah, I want to reread Pride and Prejudice, and this is where we start going into ebooks. Most of these are ebooks, and a good chunk of those ebooks are ones that I own on my Kindle. I just scrolled through my Kindle for like a bit and looked at books that I haven't read yet that I really want to read, and I always forget that I have, so I have a list basically. And the first one is the whole entire reason why I decided to make this list / video. If I keep on looking over there, it's because I'm keeping an eye on the timer for the sprints. And that one is the EOS key. I bought the EOS key, I think it was on sale when I bought it. I keep on hearing great things about it. I want to read it. I follow the author on Instagram, and she posts a bunch of fun stuff about her writing experience, but also promoting it herself and all that fun stuff on there. And she seems like a pretty cool lady. And I also just learned from Bree Cherie Reads that the audiobook has like, I want to say 12, but I don't know if that's the actual number, of narrators. And like, because it's self-published, she paid them all herself. I'm like, but yeah, no, it seems very much my type of book. I really want to read it. I mean, I've owned it for a while now, and I'm like, I should actually just read it. So this is my way to get me to read it, okay? And then there's The Raven Boys. It's just one of those YA books that I've wanted to read for a while, but I haven't picked up. So it's being mentioned here, and it's in a jar. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Okay, do we need to talk about it? No, it's just one of those books. Like, I don't have a list of things I want to do before I die type stuff. I can't think of words right now. But if I had, reading War and Peace would be on that list. Okay, that's it. Because it's a chunker. The two books by him I want to read are War and Peace and Anna Karenina. And I remember doing a project on him in high school and being intrigued by him, but never actually picking up any of his books because they're all super long. Well, the ones that I was intrigued by, of course, being super long. And you know what? Hear me out. I know, I'm pretty sure I checked, and like the audiobook is like 48 hours or something like that. But I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to read it. It's going to be one of the 12 books, 12 classics I read for the year. And I will be happy with that fact, okay? To try to get me to continue series, the next one is A Dance with a Fey Prince by Elise Kovitz. A sequel to the one that I can't remember the name of, the Elf King one, which I did read in October and I really enjoyed. And I want to continue the series. I want to continue reading Elise Kovitz in general, but we should finish the series. I'm in the middle of reading it first before I start our next one. Hear me out. So that's on the list. To read nonfictions. I don't think I'm going to try to read 12 nonfictions again in 1 year. I think I'm going to try for 6 for a healthy amount. And one of the ones I want to read is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. It's just one of those ones that have been on my list for a while, and I want to read it. I have read Not That Bad by Roxane Gay previously. Hear me out. Well, technically it's edited by Roxane Gay. Hear me out. That book is what my phone's sitting on to record this. That's what sits there. But yeah, I've read that one, and I think I'd like Bad Feminist. I want to read it. It's on my list. Yeah. And then for another nonfiction is Disfigured. I don't remember the full title, but it's something Disfigured something. There's a picture of it up right now, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. It's on my iPad right now. Like, I've had it on here for over 2 years, and I've always wanted to read it, and I just never pick it up, and I'm pretty sure it's kind of short, so like I should be able to do it, and yet I never pick it up. I don't know. So hear me out. I'm gonna read it. From Blood and Ash. Every time I say that, because of Dion, I want to say From Blood and Ash, but I won't do it. Except I just did it. I pretty sure it was either 99 cents or $0, and I bought it on Kindle. So I have it, and I always forget I have it, and I'm always like, I should probably read it. And then I never do. Like, one of my favorite more new adult paranormal fantasy romance writers, Laura Thalassa for the Four Horsemen series, she loves these books, and so I'm like, I should read at least the first one, try them out. Do I ever? No. Why would I ever actually read books I own? That would be crazy. We're not gonna talk about it. Okay, so there's like 15 books in this one, because I think there's like 3 or 4 series all connected to the Four Kingdoms universe, and I think all of them have 3 or 4 books, except for one of them has 5 books. Does it look like I know what I'm talking about? No. I thought there was only the few that I knew about, and then I got one of them for free on Kindle. I bought it for free on Kindle. And then I found out it's the first book in another series that's part of the same universe. And I learned that like a week ago when I made this list, okay? So, these are the Four Kingdoms series by Melanie Cillier. I'm just gonna go through them all, basically in publication order, from series to series. I do own one of them. They're basically all, retellings, but like, I think the one I own is Princess and the Pea, and there's like the Goose Girl, and like, they're not the typical retellings you're expecting, okay? And I think I'd be down for it. I don't know why I want to read these books, but I really want to read these books, and we're not going to talk about it. It's just a thing on my list. The next one is Radiance by Grace Draven. That's just one I've owned on my Kindle for like 3 years now, and I should probably actually read it, and I'm going to finally pick it up. Hear me out. It's like one of those kind of monster romances, but like, I think in the vein that I would like. So I'm here for it. Kind of like the Elise Kova I've read, the Laura Thalassa I've read, the Stolen Songbird. I've really got to continue that series too. I don't need to talk about all the series I have to continue from this year. But yes, that one is on the list. Unleashed by Bella Jacobs. Okay, I laugh at this book every time because it is a shifter romance, in which the shifters are wolves, so they're basically werewolves. The author's name is Bella Jacobs, as in Twilight, as in like Bella and Jacob, who's a werewolf. I don't know why. Also, the woman on the cover kind of looks like Bella to me. I'm just saying. Listen, hear me out. H has read the whole entire series, and she kind of likes them. And yeah, I think that's like the only reason I bought it. Is also for free on Kindle. Can you catch the theme? Can you catch the theme? So yeah, I guess this is my excuse to finally go read them. The timer's about to go off, so I will be right back for you guys, and I will talk about the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will talk about the last 9 of these in about 5 minutes, but for you in a second. We're back. Did I leave my phone recording that whole time so that there'd only be one clip that I technically have to edit, and then accidentally quick stop recording, thinking I was clicking record. Yes. We don't need to do. Anyways, I'm back. And we just finished about Unleashed, or talked about Unleashed. So it is time for Of the Blood by Camille Renee. I don't know. It's a book I got for free from Amazon. Do you notice the theme? I get a lot of books. I go through Amazon sometimes and I see books that are free that I'm intrigued by, or like I want to read a book by that author, so I'm like, might as well. And you know, we don't need to talk about it. I think it's YA fantasy. It's either YA or new adult fantasy, but it seems like my type of thing. I'm excited. I like the cover. That's it. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have read the first book, I think this January, and whatnot. I rated it 4 stars. We don't need to talk about it. And I read the first one, and then I bought them all. Technically, as an ebook box set, it was every single one for like $7 or something like that. It was pretty cheap for all of them, okay? And yeah, so I just went for it, and I own them. I should probably read them. And I think I could like read them pretty fast, type of thing. So it's kind of taking the place of Vampire Academy in 2023 as the book series that I try to read all of. And yeah, that's kind of the thing. And then there's A Wizarding Guide to Defensive Baking. I don't remember if I got it on sale or if I like had a ebook credit or something. I don't know. But by T. Kingfisher. I read a T. Kingfisher for the first time this year. I think it was What Moves the Dead or something like that. And I really enjoyed it. I do remember starting A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I think I read like the first chapter, and I wasn't sure how I felt. It felt young, despite the fact that it starts with someone being killed and like the main character walking into the place of work, I think, and finding the body. Like, it starts off talking about lots of blood, but felt young, and I don't know what was going on there in my brain. But yeah, I never like picked it back up after like reading half of the first chapter, so I'm gonna actually read it. Hear me out. Should actually do that. Then there's The Foxhole Court. I think everyone in the universe knows about this book, okay? I want to read it. I want to know what people are talking about. I own it because it was, and hear me out, free on Kindle. But yeah, I own it. I'm going to read it. Do we need to talk about it? No. It's been on my Kindle for like, I think I've had it for like 2-3 years. Like, it's been a while. I should read it. Hear me out. And then there's The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I own the first 2, I believe, in that series. I think I bought both of them. I think it was right after the third, or right before the third one came out. And they were only like $2 each. They were on sale on Kindle, so I bought them. And I should probably actually read them. I think I've had them for like almost a year now, if not more than a year. So, you know, there's that. I know that it's like paranormal romance. Can you catch a general theme in there? And I know there's vampires. And we're not mad about it. And I'm gonna finally pick it up. Okay, hear me out. And then we're gonna talk about the last physical book. I didn't think about it until later. Sorcery of Thorns. I have had this for multiple years. I've had this since 2020. You know when like COVID first hit and we were all stuck at home. It was like after the first few months of that, and I was bored because it was summer break, but I couldn't do anything, so I just sat in my room because my sister was home before she went off to college, and so I was just sitting in my room alone for months, and I was bored. I think I read like 28 books that month. We don't need to talk about it. That August. And so I bought like multiple boxes of books. I binged book buying And that is like the only time I've ever done that. And this is just one of the books I was there. I just liked the cover and I was like, hell yeah. And then I read about it and I think it'll be my thing. It's very nice and metallic. I don't know if it's slightly picking it up. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. It's pretty. I want to finally read it. I think Margaret Rogerson is like kind of on my list to read this month if I get to it. A different one. So, you know, also I'm pretty sure it's a standalone, and I should read more standalones because I'm reading too many series. Can you say it with me? Too many series. So I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna have a good time. And yeah. Hey, our hair kind of matches. A little bit. It looks more blonde in person. But we kind of match. Intriguing. But yeah, that's the last physical book we're gonna talk about. And then we need to talk about A Quarter Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Hear me out. I'm gonna read it as soon as the audiobook becomes available at my library. I will pick it up and I will read it. It is, and hear me out. Last I knew, it was a 28-week wait. I'm on the hold list, okay? It's pretty long, though. And I've heard mixed things. Dion, who loves ACOTAR, and because of her, I am rereading ACOTAR. She's not having as great as a time with it. According to her, it's a lot of spicy days, which is, like, not always the best. And so I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm supposed to be reading A Court of Wings and Ruin right now, which I'm not doing clearly, because I'm filming this instead. Again, I'm reading it again. So, you know, I think it's time that I finally bite the bullet and pick up that book. So that's the plan. I wrote down Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, but just generally continuing the Shadowhunters universe by Cassandra Clare. Last year, in 2021, I think in 2020 I read the first book in the Mortal Instruments, The City of Bones, and then I didn't continue until last year in 2021. I think it was like the spring. I like took apart my whole entire room and redid it all, and while I was doing that, I listened to audiobooks, mostly that whole entire series. I think the last two, because they're so long. Why? I do not know. I was already done, so I was like playing. I remember playing Farming Simulator 2019 while listening to them, which is hilarious because this year in 2022, I did a vlog where I read all of the Infernal Devices, and for part of them, I listened to the audiobook while playing Farming Simulator 2019. I felt like it was perfect. It was, you know, circular, nice time. Anyways, I think it's about time I continue the universe some more. I tend to take very long breaks in between each series just because they take a lot out of me. But I think as I've been going along, as the characters get older and Cassandra Clare gets more practice in her writing, I think I enjoy them more. Like, I didn't like the Mortal Instruments that much because it was too YA for me, I think because the characters were like 15, 16, those ones, for the most part, not my thing. I'm pretty sure Tessa in the Infernal Devices is like 18 or something like that, so it's a little bit older, and I think that's going to be the continued theme around. They're all going to be a little bit older, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna continue. I'm pretty sure I have a graphic like bookmarked on my computer. I'm very sure it's out of date. Of in what order you're supposed to read them, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read the next one. But there's also this one website that I looked at that had 6 different orders you can read them all in, and what? So I wrote down Lady Midnight, but I mean in general the Shadowhunters universe. Okay, I'm gonna continue, and you know, have a good time. Like, some of them look very interesting to me, like Chains of Gold. I kind of want to read that one. But also I know they're like this thick. Maybe they're not actually that thick, but they're very thick. And yeah, I think audiobooks will save you that way. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Could I have put down, for the last one, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, that duology, while it's still a duology? Yes. I did finally finish the Shadowbone series this year. I've been reading them for a while. I want to say since middle of 2021, since like May. So that's one. I could be continuing in the Grishaverse, but I kind of want to read Ninth House. Hear me out. So I think I'm gonna finally pick it up. It's been on my list for a while. I think I'm gonna finally do it. And yeah, that's the last one. That was 23. I was switching back and forth. I was between that or Good Omens for the 23rd one, which I also own. I should also read. Hear me out. That's the thing I should do. But yes, that is the 23 books / authors I want to read in 2023 that are also in a TBR jar. And yeah, that is the general plan as of this moment. Honestly, don't know what comes up after this because I'm filming this in the end of November. Like, you can see the whiteboard, you can tell it's the end of November. It's the last week of November, and I'm filming this, and it's supposed to go up the last week of December. Am I okay? But I think chances are, because this is going up instead of a TBR, that the next video will be the first weekly reading vlog of January. So stay tuned for that, or whatever the next video is, honestly. And yes, linked below is all my social media, including my Instagram, Goodreads, and Storygraph. I post reviews for books that aren't for vlogs on all three, so you can like catch those on any of those. If you want to stay up to date what I'm reading as I'm reading, Goodreads is the way to go. And on Instagram, I post favorite of the month, and book trackers, and also like stories of books that I'm reading for vlogs, when I'm reading them and whatnot. So if you want to stay up to date with that stuff, that's all on Instagram. Either way you go, it's fine. All that stuff is linked below. Thank you for coming to this very unexpected video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video in the next year, because this is probably the last video of 2022.